Hey everyone, it's me Kenji again, and oh my goodness, Love is Blind Sweden episode 1 started off with a bang, and I'm about to recap all what I just saw and give my little spin on things and just kind of what I'm thinking about what is going on. So first and foremost, we meet Chrissy. Okay, we meet Chrissy. She's this blonde hair girl. She's kind of edgy. She's got that sleeve, like that tattoo sleeve. I'm really liking it. But the first thing that was a little bit suspicious for me is when she said she was 29, because I'm 28 and ma'am, Chrissy looking a little bit older than 29. If she said 35, maybe, but that's a real hard 29. But other than that, I do like Chrissy. I think she was super cool at the beginning, but it seemed like it was a little bit harder for her to make any type of connection. But what I found most interesting is she really wants to have kids, but the Swedish people on this show were not having it. And I think this comes from the notion that, you know, in Europe, they definitely have lower birth rates than other Western countries like the United States. And it was really cool and it was really interesting to see people say like, nah, I don't really want to have kids, or no, maybe in a few more years. And in my head, I'm like, you are 35. Like, what do you mean in a few more years? So it was really interesting to see someone like Chrissy wanting kids being the minority. So in pops in Rasmus, who is now supposed to be her match. This guy who's supposed to just, they both have tattoos, they both want kids, they both are Aries, they both have dogs. It just seems like a match made in heaven. And I was really rooting for them. Like, it just seemed like things were linking up and all was fine and dandy until Rasmus started talking to other people and they started to show clips of him wanting to be, he was like, oh, I have to be mysterious and all this stuff. Like, I can't stand people who want to be an enigma or just mysterious for the sake of competition or the game of love. Like, it's like, come on, like, it's supposed to be Love is Blind. You're supposed to just tear down your walls, all this sort of things that you're trying to portray yourself to be, and just be yourself. And what's very interesting, not only about Rasmus, but I gotta flip it over to Sergio, because I feel like they're two peas in a pod. Because what's so funny about Rasmus trying to be some kind of personality, as well as Sergio trying to be some type of personality, is they are arguably the least attractive guys in the pods. And I just find this so funny when it comes to some guys. I have to say this, but I find it so funny that sometimes people who are the least attractive try to overcompensate with a larger than life personality that normally just ends up being obnoxious. And that's what it really came off for me. Sergio really came off as obnoxious. Rasmus also came off slightly obnoxious. But to kind of go back to Rasmus, because I feel like I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself for Sergio, one piece that I will say was a bit of a yellow flag when it came to Rasmus, and I think also with Sergio, is these two men tried to say like, oh, I'm emotional, I'm in tune with my emotions. Rasmus was saying, oh, just the other day I was crying about something. And I think in 2024, guys are trying to use this I'm in tune with my emotions type of lingo in order to kind of get women to fall in love with them. But I will have to caution all you people out there, especially you single people out there watching, it's not only important that someone is in tune with their emotions, but it's also even more so important that they are in control of their emotions. Because what you don't want, or who doesn't know how to, reel it in and is 1 minute this way and 1 minute that. You don't want somebody who's all over the place, who's a hot mess. And so I'm very intrigued to see in episode 2 if that's how it's gonna be with Rasmus and Sergio, because I get the feeling this is a yellow flag. The next person that Rasmus begins to talk to is this girl named Katya. And I'll have to just say this, I have to come out and say she is my female crush so far for this season, because she came out in this bad blue power suit. It's just something about a woman in a power suit with her dark, beautiful hair and her piercing blue eyes. It just matched with her power suit. I was feeling it. Fast forwarding on to when Chrissy and Katya are starting to fall in love for Rasmus. And Chrissy, she thinks she's slick, okay? She thinks she's slick. She's like, oh, Katya, let me know, cause who are you talking about? He sounds familiar. If he's the same guy that I'm interested in, I'm gonna let him go. I'm not gonna, I don't want the competition. Lies, because the moment Chrissy finds out that Katya is interested in her man, what does she do? She runs herself back to the pods and is like, hey, I don't want to put any pressure on you, Rasmus. And the rest is history. Like the way Rasmus ends things with Katya after that. And then after that, when Katya is over there crying, people are coming to Chrissy like, Chrissy, is that the same guy? And she's just like, I don't know. Did he dump you? Did he dump Katya for you? And she's like, oh, I don't know. Like, she did a micro smile. She micro smiled. I know, like, Chrissy is slick, but she's not that slick. I peep her game. She is used to getting what she wants, and it's just hilarious to think that like there is some kind of competition going on where Rasmus is the prize, because once again, I think him and Sergio are the least attractive, yet they're the ones playing the most games. The one other thing, or the one other angle that I want to approach episode 1 in talking about is trauma. A lot of times in Love is Blind, we see how one person in the pod opens up and that allows the other person to feel this vulnerability, gain a connection, and blah, 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 they fall in love. But what I would like to argue is that I feel as though the fact that Chrissy opened up to Rasmus about her trauma and some of the issues with her family life and her mom, that not only did it increase her attraction or his attraction to her because of this quote unquote vulnerability, but I think sometimes what I've seen sometimes in the pods is that this also sets it up where the man will feel like a savior, or will feel as though his woman is a victim that needs to be loved and protected. And I forgot that guy's name, but Love is Blind season 5 is a great example of this one person from the pod where he felt as though he could love bomb somebody who was very inexperienced with love, who said it themselves that they don't know how to love other people. And he thought that by turning her into a project and showing her what love was really about, that she would just be grateful and that they would live happily ever after. So I guess that's what I'm kind of cautioning here with this whole Chrissy and Rasmus thing, and that I've just started to pick up on a potential trend that might be happening not only within the pods, but also something that I've seen in my life. There have been actually times in my life where I've been trying to date people and they have literally chosen another person because that person is more damaged, or that person has more trauma, and that person will be the most grateful for this savior coming in. It's a recipe for disaster. It really is. But I hope with Rasmus, I hope that he's just putting on this type of big, like, this personality, and when he actually meets Chrissy, that he will just calm down, and that this whole savior thing is not really what's actually happening. Okay, so the last person that I want to talk about is this girl named Amelia. I gotta say she's pretty average looking, but she seems to be a bit older, a little bit more stable. And then all of a sudden she just kind of went left field for me. In the sense that she was just like, oh, before I came to like this whole thing, I like manifested this name, Lucas. And I'm like, what? Like, what in the manifestation? What is what in the self-fulfilling prophecy? What is this, girl? Like I would have kept that to myself, but it seems like Lucas was really feeling that. But that was a little bit weird for me. But yeah, I know I only talked about 6 people from the pods. Those were sort of the heavy hitters, the people that were most interesting. But yeah, that is about it. This video is kind of getting long. Stay tuned while I talk about episode 2. I'm really excited. So yeah, let's get the discussion popping and I will see you guys later. Bye.